Are you looking for a career change? Are you stuck at a job that your parents think is amazing because of the brand name that you're associated with, but deep down you know that the job is shit and that you need to move out as soon as possible? Then I feel you. I really feel you. I'm Jibby Johnson, and today I want to talk about something that I wish somebody had told me earlier when I was in my early 20s. Embrace career change and growth in your 20s. Please do. Get real for a second. We've all heard it that you need to have something that you're passionate about by the age of 20, 25, and then you need to find out a way of earning income by that passion or your career choice that you've made, and then stick to it for the rest of your life. Climb up the corporate ladder if there's any, but turns out that these are things of the past. You should actually not think on those terms anymore. Now, if you're thinking, who am I to talk about all of this, please don't listen to me. Listen to the authors of the book called The Squiggly Career. They essentially tell you that the modern careers are no more a linear ladder path, they're rather squiggly. So you would see a lot of millennials and Gen Z kids actually choosing different career options, one after the other, which might not even be related to each other. Because everyone in this era is looking for what they really like and what they can survive with for the next 20 or 30 years of their life that they would work for. So this week, coincidentally, I had coffee chats with two different people who are in two different mindsets. One is a senior leader from my organization. He has been working in the automotive sector, in the finance department, in different roles, of course, but for the last 10 or 12 years he's been in this journey, and he really likes it, so he's passionate about it. But on the same day I had another meeting with an intern who had such a different mindset. She is, I think, 22 or something. Yeah. And she had already switched her roles multiple times over the last years that started working. And she has been in consulting, she has been in sales, she has been in different industries like pharma, fashion, industrial, automotive, etc. So you can already see the kind of difference that's coming up in this new era, in this new generation. So this video is actually for all those of my dearest friends here watching me who might be watching me. Please take it as a sign that this is the right time to make a move in your 20s. But I'm not saying that you can't make a move in your 30s or 40s. It's never too late to understand what you're really passionate about, what you really like. But 20s, I believe, is the best time for you to understand what you are interested in and trying out new things, embracing the change, the hustle, and all of that. So let's dive deep into the 5 reasons why I think that embracing your career change in 20s is the best you can do to yourself, and you will thank yourself a few years later. It's like trying on jeans after a vacation. You might have to try on a few before you find the right fit. It's like it's like that. So the number one reason that I recommend my juniors or my cousins who are younger to me to try out new things, new career opportunities in your 20s is because you develop a diverse set of skills. Now, I'm not kidding, because when I started working at the age of 22, I was into supply chain management. I worked there in procurement. I learned about commodity purchasing. I learned about using SAP. I learned so many different skills on how to schedule and forecast and manage inventory and all of that. And then I moved to project management. I learned other skills there, like leading a project, how to ensure project timelines are met, how the project is closed on time, and all of that. Then I did my MBA and I moved again to business development roles. I learned marketing and business development skills. And then I further learned more project management skills on the go. And one thing that I observed is that all these different skills that I learned from my different roles, those you cannot say that those have been just a part of that role. there might be something that you can transfer into the next role, and that becomes the red thread through your career, and that's what is your USP. So for me, for example, it was project management. I have had different projects in my different roles, and that that skill set got developed and it got stacked upon one upon the other, and that's how I ended up in my current role, which I'm pretty happy about. I like my 9 to 5 job. I'm really, actually, it's 9 to 6 job. I really like my job, and that's because I tried on new different things, and yeah, I understood that I learned a lot of different skills, and these different skills are never going on waste. If you move to a new role, you take something out of it, and then you have a portfolio of different sets that you can always use in your new roles, in your new positions. Number two, career transitioning in your 20s is amazing because that helps you to identify what you really want. Like I said, this is your era of self discovery, trying out new skills, new positions, new roles, because you will truly understand what lights you up, what gives you that spark, what are your strengths, where can you use your strengths, where can you learn, and where are you willing to learn and develop more. I think these are things that would only be visible to you once you try out new things. If you're stuck in that one role, in that one position, you're not even exploring your skills and your potential to the maximum. So this is something that you can do easily in your 20s, but it might become a little bit of a hurdle to do this in your 30s and 40s. But of course, you can always do it later as well. But 20s is the time when you have least obligations, and most of us have least responsibilities in this era. So why not try it out? Number three is that you become more adaptable when you make changes. Now, in this current age and time, jobs are being replaced by AI tools and robots and all. So it's only natural to feel that you need to pivot, but you can't pivot. And if you are stuck in that one role and say tomorrow that becomes obsolete, then you will not have something that you can pivot to. So it's always nice to have that adaptability as a skill, and this comes only when you come out of that comfort zone of having that one position, one role that you've been working on. So if you try on one or two other roles, then you will understand what it takes to start from scratch, to be adaptable, to learn the skills. That's super critical because being adaptable, being agile is the way going forward in all careers. Number four, career transitions can increase your salary earning potential. Yes, yes, and yes. Do not leave this opportunity on the table just because you feel that you have a very comfortable life, you have a comfortable role that you love to work on. If you switch companies, if you switch industries, if you switch roles, you actually are showing to the world that you have something and that you're not going to settle for the average or the status quo. You need a salary bump, you need that jump in your earning. And this is very much appreciated by organizations. And if you actually make a switch and ask for a hike, there are very few instances where organizations would say no. They will always want someone who has been adaptable, who has had those different skills to join their organization. And that's why a little bit of hike or increase that you might ask for is very normal for them, and they will give it to you. And number five is pretty obvious. That is that with every new career change, role transitioning into a new position, you get an expanded network of people. You get to meet new connections. You get to understand what are the different trends in their industries, what are some potential learnings that we can take from their industry and use it in our industry. So, in general, it expands your horizons in which you think, and that is always helpful, not just in your next move, but also in general in any position. You always can go back to these new or old connections that you had made and learn from their experiences in dealing with situations that you might be going through. Now, I know that some of you might be thinking, what if I fail? Let me tell you a little secret. There's no such thing as failure, especially in terms of your career, because it's always just a redirection. If you don't like something, that's your intuition telling you to make the next move. Do that. You might be thinking, how many times will I transition? When will I find the right position? The simple answer is when you actually feel like you're contributing to that, and when you feel like you are being appreciated for what you do, that's when you know that you're at the right position in the right role. So until then, do not settle, guys. Do not settle. I have from my personal experience, I can tell you, I joined when I had joined my first organization. I did not, like I said, particularly like the kind of work that I was doing. But just because I was learning a few things, I was like, okay, let's just strive. And I had so much fear of whether I will ever, come out of this. What happens if I do not find the exact brand value that I got here? What if I do not find a role even remotely as good as this current one? All these thoughts of fear were in my head, and that's how I spent 3 years of my life there. I wish somebody had told me before to not think too much about it. But I finally did make a change at the age of 25. But yeah, I just was thinking I should have done it earlier. It was just in my head. I was acting out of fear. So to not do that, please listen to your intuition and make that move. Now, if you're thinking, how do we make this transition? I would suggest these 5 ways. One is start by self reflection and research. Try to understand what are your strengths, weaknesses, etc. So, do a basic SWOT analysis and understand what energizes you and what drains you. This is like number one on the top of the list that I have to say. And once you do a little bit of your self reflection, also try to understand what kind of role do you want to go into, or what kind of career do you want to go into, and do a lot of desk research. Now, this is non negotiable because this is a move that you will be making by yourself voluntarily, and you want to be sure what you're getting into. You cannot rely on a third party to tell you what a possible or potential position would look like. You have to do your research and you have to try and understand if you really fit into that position or not. That is number one. And once you understand what field you want to go into, the next step is to try to find out courses or um, basic projects or internships or something in that field so that you can get a hands-on experience of what it would feel like if you make that transition, if you get into that dream position, into that dream new role. So this will help you in understanding whether you're a right fit or not. Another thing is networking. Network like crazy. Now, I am not saying network for job opportunities, but rather network to understand what it feels like to work in that career. So, if you are someone who is wanting to join, for example, project management, now I'll always bring project management everywhere. So, if you want to join project management, but you've been in, for example, you've been working as an engineer, um, so you need to talk to people to understand what it feels like, what kind of work they do, what is the ground reality, and that's how you get all the inside juice. Other thing that you can do is take up free courses first on LinkedIn Learning, Udemy, um, yeah, all of these free platforms, Skillshare, etc. Try to understand what the field is, And if there is any theoretical aspect that you might have missed in while doing a research, you'll get to know there. And also, this is a way for you to earn certifications and some sort of a credibility, so that when you apply to some position associated with this dream new career, you already have something tangible to show to them, which makes you a potential candidate for them. And last but not the least, this is again coming back to the initial aspect: embrace the change. It's okay. It's okay. You'll have new challenges. You'll have tough times in this new role, probably because for some of us it would be extremely different from what we have been doing before. And most of the times you will feel like you should just give up because this is not your cup of tea. You would have rather been good in your previous role. But I think that's the whole idea: embracing that that hustle, that starting from scratch feeling, rethink, reflect on why you wanted to make this transition in the first place. If you're true to yourself, you'll get your answer right there. And then you'll get the intrinsic motivation to keep striving to find out if this is the right path for you or not. Okay, so before I end, I just wanted to say I feel that there are a few tests that most people should take in their 20s, which I will link here or I'll put it in the description box. And you should take those tests if you are thinking about a career transition. And even if you're not thinking about a career transition, I would highly recommend these tests and this book, which I just said, The Squiggly Career, because this has been a game changer for me. I mean, I just read it last year, but I think it has good information for people who are thinking constantly about their career paths, their career directions. And I think those tests, the tests are: one is Clifton Strength, that is, I think, a paid one. So only if you are really, really interested, you should pay for it. But other than that, you have other tests where you can find out your strengths and what career path is best suited for you. For example, the MBTI test, I'm pretty sure some people might have taken that already. It's the 16 personality test. It tells you what kind of positions or what kind of professions actually suit an individual based on their intrinsic characteristics. So that is one test, and others I would link it below. So hope you enjoyed, and please, like I said, if you have been thinking about it, take it as a sign and do your research and let me know if you actually get the courage to do it. And yeah, I'll see you soon.